There's another thing I was doing as well that was keeping me up, but I can't remember what it is already. Oh, I did do a bunch of like Umineko Higurashi research is what I was doing in the night. Just cause. Yeah. One thing, I looked into Golden Fantasia, or I know it best by its Japanese name, Olga Muso Kyoku. Um, I watched all the Ultimate Attacks, to see what the animations were like. I watched, what else? I saw what happens. Battler has a grab attack where he goes for the breasts for
Dang.
every character. And I watched his interactions for every character that he grabs. And then I also watched Anje apparently has a taunt. Um, she says keep the jokes about your ex to every single character, and the X is different for every character.
Dang.
It was very funny. So that was my time.
Are we gonna play that after we get done with Umineko? Are we gonna do like a funny little video for that?
I would not be opposed.
Neither would I.
I merely have to.
Our audio sounds fine.
Okay, good. I'll have to get it and actually learn it because I don't remember if I said it on here or not. But as I said to you, I'm pretty sure the only time I had experience with it, it was fully in Japanese, so I have no idea how to play it really.
I believe there is a version on Steam, although I don't know if it's translated.
I sure hope so.
Because they shouldn't be able to see my screen while I'm doing this. So.
Okay. Also, good morning, early folks.
Yeah, we're a little Umineko Golden Fantasia. It's $25. It does appear to be, at least their names are translated into English, but I don't know. No, it's in English. There's English.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Um.
So yeah, look forward to that. We might be doing that on a little funny little video on that when Umineko's over.
To me, see, I won't get too heavy into it. I don't care for typical fighter games like that. I don't care for fighter games at all. Period.
Not
Much
really.
really.
I don't either.
But to me, playing that is like playing Smash after playing like
Yeah.
18 different Nintendo games. I just want to play it so I can be like, look, I'm Kirby.
We are we are those kids that played all the Nintendo games growing up, and then Nintendo was like, we're releasing a game that has everyone in it. And you're like, what?
Yes, that's me right now being
No
like,
way.
you're telling me that I can have what are two characters that don't interact in this dang game? I can have Anja fight Erika?
Precisely.
There we go.
Alright, well.
Anyway,
Speaking
I have
of
to
Erika.
address. Yeah, I have to address the audience briefly. Oh, I don't have to, but I'm choosing to. So last stream, we briefly mentioned about how I had stumbled upon a Erika Furudo D&D build on Umineko Reddit, and this was like months ago, I'm pretty sure, or at very least weeks ago. I have the post pulled up here, but I'm too lazy to see when it was posted. 2 months ago. So, and we have received a comment last stream, and I hope Dagowit, I'm assuming that's pronounced correctly. I hope you're here now. It seems like from the way you made your comment, you were the author of that
Dang.
build, which is crazy. I don't know how you found us, but thank you.
Hey, it's a tight community. It's a...
Yeah, and no shade intended. We were just talking about it because we are, maybe not first and foremost, but we are a D&D based channel.
Yep.
So I just wanted to bring that up with...
apparent by our channel logo being a D20.
Yeah. However, and Levi can attest to this, I said in my comment to you, Dagowitz, that my Umineko is hard to port into D&D.
Yep.
Very difficult, but I've risen to the challenge. I've decided I'm going to try it. So I'm not going to go into huge detail. I'm going to try to keep it brief because I know you guys are like, just get to reading the funny words, funny men. In which case, thanks for thinking we're funny. But my Erika Furudo build is not insanely different from the one on that Reddit. The one on the Reddit had proposed variant human was the main choice for the race, and I agree with that. Because Erika's kind of, she's anti-magic, right? She's mystery. So I feel like that fits for her. The background they chose was pirate. I chose investigator, personally. I should also mention that I chose, for all the content I used for my build, I used exclusively 2014 and supplemental rules for that. So all the source books for 5e. I did not use 2024. I did not use homebrew. And I did not even use partnered content. The class that this person suggested was 13 levels of Inquisitive Rogue, 7 of Archfey Warlock, with Pact of the Chain.
Interesting.
They have a giant post, which perhaps if I consider about it later, I'll either post a pinned comment, or I'll put it in the description, the link to their thing, so you can get the full credit and you can look at it for yourself, because it's a lot. Mine differentiates because I chose to go 10 Archfey Warlock as well, and 10 College of Whispers Bard. My main reason being, I don't like sneak attack being Erika's thing, because that doesn't make sense to me. And obviously with Inquisitive Rogue, she would have sneak attack. And I was like, I don't like that, because that doesn't really thematically match Erika. I don't feel like to have a sneak attack.
She's not sneaking around.
Exactly. She's might when she's climbing on the walls. Also true. But she's not doing sneak damage. I feel like that's not her whole thing. So I chose the Bard and stuff, and her whole goal and my thing is, like, she does not do combat. Like, she might do combat because she has to, but this character is not built to interact in combat, to heal people, to buff people, to damage enemies. She does not exist for that. She exists to expose the truth. That's it. So with the Bard, she has a ton of proficiencies, half proficiencies, and expertises. Her passive investigation is a 32. This is a level 20 character sheet, by the way.
That does make sense. Based off of what we've seen so far.
Yeah, she has a plus 17 in investigation.
Shoo!
With a 20 in intelligence. Oh, that was the other thing. Her stat array, I guess I should say, which I used standard array for her. She has an 8 in strength, because I don't recall her having any feats in strength. She has a 14 in dexterity. I only put that because she is a little slippery. 12 in con, just because that's a little above par, and I had to put a 12 somewhere. Then 20 in intelligence, and that was attained through standard array being 15, and then several ASIs. As well as the keen mind feat, because of course. 15 in wisdom, because as much as I don't think she's very mentally resilient, I do think she is more likely to be wise than she is to be, like, strong. And then a 10 in charisma, because her behavior in this episode shows she does not have charisma.
Oh, hello, Duke Onklid? Onklid? Sorry, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce your username. Right now, we are... this is just the beginning of stream, and we're talking about, my good co-host, Pertusit, has made a D&D build for Erika Furudo.
Yes, which I will also link the thing for that later. I'm almost done. Otherwise, the only other thing I have left to say, which I came up with a really cool idea, and this would require some DM approval. Not a whole lot, though. I don't think. Obviously, the whole thing is she has a bunch of spells, but she's an anti-magic person, right? In my eyes, the whole reason she does this is it's just like in the game. They may be classified as spells by D&D, but what she is instead doing is she is proving the existence of these things with science or what have you, the detective's authority, and then through her patron, Berncastel, she speaks it with the red, making it true. That's how I chose to do it. So, for example, she has Speak with Dead prepared from one of her Warlock things, and instead of it her just being like, I summon the ghost of somebody to tell me what happened, she goes like, I'm going to use the detective's authority and see what happened. And then Berncastel goes like, I'll allow it. And then she speaks with the dead.
God, that's... I like that. I like that.
It's silly, isn't it?
Of it.
Also, another thing I have to throw in there that I was proud of, her scythe, the scythe that she uses. I unfortunately could not find a way to make it good, considering she's not a martial. And again, like I said, she's not meant to be a fighter. But the only thing I got is I made her take Pact of the Blade Warlock. And it says that you can choose the description of the weapon, the size and everything, and you're proficient in it. So, and it's a magic weapon. So I was like, there you go. Unfortunately, that means all it does is a D4 plus 2, even at level 20.
Dang.
But again, that's not your main mode of attack. The other offensive, the only offensive spells I prepared for her were psychic ones, and I figured that would simply be her, like, you know, being her and intellectually Roltham psychic lancing people.
Dang.
But yeah, I can link the whole actual stat later. But basically, she's super detective. I think I checked every box of everything she can do. Some things I couldn't help, though, is for some reason she's proficient in short swords, and crossbow, and light armor. I did give her no armor, so she has an AC of 12.
Dang.
As well.
She'll be fine.
Yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, I also gave her spells that would be more detective's authority, like charm person. So be like, hey, tell me what happened to you. Or identify, detect magic, detect thoughts. I also took things like enhance ability, so she can be like, no, I gotta be strong for this. Yeah. Oh, wait, there was one other one that I really liked. This one, clairvoyance, which lets you create an invisible sensor in which you know anything passes through it, even invisible things. And I was like, that's basically the packing tape.
Yes, that is the packing tape. That.
Oh.
Magical.
And then I also took banishment as well, and I think I took that because I was like, because she banishes the illusion of the witch. So if she deems whatever you're doing to be like fake, she'll just be like, bye. Not real. See you, loser.
What happens if she fails the check to banish them? Yeah.
And I forgot to mention, the reason I chose College of Whispers Bard is it has a thing where it buffs attacks with psychic damage, which again I think is just more Erika flavor.
All right. Well.
So yeah, I think I covered all my bases on there. Oh, another thing she has that I will mention is she also is proficient in vehicles, parentheses, water. Because I ran out of things to get proficient in.
I feel like she shouldn't be proficient in water vehicles considering how she's introduced every episode, but...
Hey, she was a passenger. She wasn't captaining that.
Precisely. She wasn't captaining it.
Anyway.
All right, well.
That's all. I spent too long talking about it, but I spent all night working on it.
Yeah, man.
Well, not really, but...
First thing he told me when we prepared to do stream today is, I have not slept since I last spoke to you. Which was, last night at, like, midnight, so...
It was about 12 hours ago.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, alright, hope you're ready for stream.
Yep. And partially in that time, I worked on this build, as well as a few others. I also designed an Erika Furudo stat block that's like an NPC/monster, but I'm not gonna
that gives you some more
bother with that.
freedom.
Yeah, that one I can do whatever I'd like on that. I also made a Dillinor one as well.
That's what I was going to say after your whole thing. I was going to say, now you got to make a Dillinor one.
I was having so much fun. Those two were the only ones I really wanted to do because they're cool.
Dilinor's a fan favorite. What can I say?
Yeah. In any case, I've spoken too much. Would you like to give us a more or less recap of last time?
Yeah. So last week we had basically the whole love fight kicked off, where, well, first of all, it was kind of funny because they showed up in the I don't know, they didn't give a name to the place. I'm gonna call it the Love Zone. They showed up in the Love Zone. Sorry if you hear that in the background, by the way. Someone in my house is cutting something with a very large saw right now.
I can't barely hear it, but also Discord, so I don't know.
True. But yeah, no, so Jessica, Shannon, Kanon, and George all went to the Love Zone so that Kanon and Shannon could be like, we gotta fight over our love, because only one pair of us can get it. And George was like, yup, that's definitely correct. I put full faith into this, and Jessica was like, wait a minute. that sounds kind of stupid to me. I'm not sure. And then everyone was like, shut up, Jessica, idiot. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. And then Jessica was like, oh, okay. But we got introduced to the two funny characters now that we have. Kerfer, not Kerfer.
Whoa.
Furfur and Zepar. Zepar and Furfur. Sorry, Kerfer is from that funny indie game that people play, Voices of the Void. That's the name of your robot assistant in that game. So I don't know, I had that on the brain. But yes, we have Zepar and Furfur. They're the two funny little demons of love, and they're kind of like, I mean, the way we've interpreted them, but also the way that they're portrayed in the dialogue is they're kind of like funny, preachy characters. Also kind of like game show hosty characters, where that's their bit the whole time. Is they're doing that.
Yep.
And then, yup, you're so right, Duke Onklid, you're so right. We had George go fight his mom, and it started as a little debate, and then they actually magic fought. So that's up to your interpretation of if it was really a real fight or not. But yeah, Ava kept making really weird remarks about putting George back in her womb.
Yeah.
And I kept being like, stop, the whole time it was happening. And then George won. He beat her. And then Jessica was like, well, now I can't back down. So she goes and she's like, I'm just going to fight the first person I see. And it happened to be Kyrie. And then they had a really long conversation that revealed some Kyrie lore. About how she was fully prepared to kill Asumu-san. But didn't because it just so happened, if you believe her, that Asumu-san got sick. Or actually, I don't even know if she said she got sick, but she just passed away without Kyrie having to kill her. But Kyrie was like, I was fully prepared. I just didn't have to.
Yep.
And then Jessica was like, dang, you know what? You right, Aunt Kyrie. I'm going to kill you. And then
Very
Jessica,
funny how that worked out.
Yeah, Jessica chased her down through the house and got weird and had gray eyes and went like yandere mode and called upon the power of several demons. Ronove was there. And she made a closed room murder happen.
With the permeation upgrade.
And also Kyrie called on the power of Leviathan during that fight as well, through her envy that she's had for so long. And then basically Shannon and Kanon and Egatrice were like, dang, how am I gonna top that? And then we cut away, and are now, I believe, where we are now.
Yeah. So the last three lovers, unless you count Battler, have to fight.
Yep.
I can't remember what else was going on with the others. The family conference was happening. Like, the whole Kyrie thing was right above them all.
Yes, they said that they had taken a break, which was why both George and Jessica managed to run into adults in the house. Because George presumably went and actually just got his mom and was like, hey, I need to talk to you. And then they went outside, which is where that happened. And then Jessica just found Kyrie, because Kyrie was walking around.
Yep.
And now we're with Rosa.
Yeah.
Rosa could be seen in the parlor. The relatives apparently all wanted to be alone after dispersing for a short break. Since everyone avoided the parlor, the one place where people would normally gather, Rosa was able to have this relaxing and comforting room all to herself. That didn't mean she looked relaxed. Her expression was heavy with gloom and weariness. The cup of black tea that she had brought from the dining hall had gone cold. A pleasant silence. Now that no one was in sight, Rosa's heart finally awoke. She was always treated like a kid in the conferences with her 3 siblings. She had no influence at all. But, possibly because of that, she was apparently considered to be a neutral party. The siblings would often ask her for agreement, sometimes even treating her like a referee or judge.
I have to make use of that and turn the discussion in the direction I want. I have to find almost 100 million yen by March. That was supposed to be my great commitment, a burden I bore to help support that man's business. Now, I'm not sure anymore. If I can pay off my debt, will he call me again?
Rosa. You're telling me, like, Rudolph is in legal trouble. Kraus made just a really bad set of decisions, but it's implied that they might pay off given time. Eva and Hideyoshi are having political, legal infighting in their own company, and your debt is because of a booty call?
Yeah.
Rosa.
World End Baby Piano. Don't make me laugh. Even if you do contact me after all this time, I'll be the one to refuse. But still, you're Maria's father.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense then.
Please come and see her. If only just once. Love is quite a difficult thing
Dang.
to stick to, isn't it? You've known it for all of, what, 5 minutes? Huh?
And that's how easy it was for him. He just needed to accept it.
Who?
Though no one should have been in the parlor, someone suddenly spoke to Rosa, and she jumped. Just when did he get there? Kanon could be seen standing there. Even considering that she had been deep in thought, to think that she hadn't noticed him at all.
Okay, I was double checking because I was curious what time this was happening at.
Mm-hmm.
So the last chapter began at 12:07 a.m. This one is beginning at 12:12 a.m.
Okay. So this
5
is
minutes.
right after the Jessica thing
if
happened.
not during even.
Well, Kanon was there when she got back, and they were like,
true.
"Oh, you guys haven't done anything yet." So I'm assuming this is
That's
like
true.
immediate. But also to speak to what you're saying in chat, Onclid, yeah, I have been very heavily being like, "Yup, Battler's gonna be in a logic trap." I'm assuming though that's gonna take place after all this stuff with the Love Gang happens, because that's going to have to start taking place once the actual murders are occurring and he's doing red-blue fights with Erika, I'm guessing. So we're probably not going to be there for a bit. Sorry, I just read what you just said. True. Rosa is, in fact, the best worst character. You're so real for that. You're
In any case. You startled me. Sorry, I guess I was thinking so hard that I didn't notice you. Do you need something? No. The reason you are currently in pain is because of love, Rosa-sama.
Oh no, this isn't gonna go well.
Am I wrong, Chigalno? That's sudden. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Maria-sama's father wanted you to be the co-signer on a loan. Oh, we're getting the full-on lore. And you accepted, Rosa-sama.
Now, how do you know that, Kanon?
Apparently. What a troublesome kid. You were listening to Kraus Nissan from the hallway, weren't you?
Okay, now I know how you know that.
That'll do it.
True. Earlier this day, in this very room, Kraus had seen through the fact that Rosa was bearing a massive debt because she'd become a co-signer on a loan. However, he hadn't said that her partner had been Maria's father. Why did Kanon know so much? Well, he probably put two and two together from what you just said now, like 10 seconds ago.
You are a very wise person, Rosa-sama. you wouldn't have become a co-signer without thinking carefully about the consequences.
Hi, A-person. You are currently in the fourth of this visual novel with us right now. Yeah. We've been playing this for about over a year, and we are in the latter half of the story. So, yeah, this is a visual novel called Umineko, and it's about a murder mystery, kinda. And if you haven't been watching from the beginning, there's a lot you're not gonna get, but we welcome you to be here with us.
I forgot to mention, this is Happy Stream 50 of Umineko in total. It's in the thumbnail.
Stream 50, woo!
Yeah.
But yeah, we welcome you to be here, but I will say what we have always said to everyone who's come in here and been like, what is this? What's going on? I highly recommend, if you're interested, that you go back and watch from the beginning, although that is a massive time sink. So, but welcome, regardless.
I hadn't yet moved to his family register, but I thought of the man I would soon marry as my partner. If he couldn't borrow the money without my name, I figured that helping out was my responsibility as his future wife. And did that future ever come? This is crazy. I feel like this is a portent for a lot of people's upcoming Thanksgivings. That one cousin and that one aunt arguing.
Dang. No, it hadn't. Well, right now, Kanon is being influenced magically by entities to tell him that he needs to do everything in his power no matter what to achieve his love, otherwise it's not going to happen. So he's kinda...
I say the same thing at Thanksgiving. They still give me weird looks.
Dang. So afterwards, Rosa was always alone. And Maria never had a father. Okay, that part's true. But you had your daughter, Rosa. You just didn't see her, but you had her. However, time moved on. Nothing changed, except that Maria, who should have been a symbol of their union, just kept growing like a living hourglass, measuring the length of the hell that Rosa had crawled through. So that's only because you decided to see it that way. Because of that, Maria's growth hurt.
It's ironic. I tried to forget that man several times. But you know, forgetting him doesn't get rid of that debt.
It was only natural. That's why she had to forget her love and do all she could to pay that money back.
But you know, I also think of it this way. If I can manage to pay everything off, it'll mean that I've passed the try of love that he gave me. I'll have to pay off my debt anyway, so how can I abandon my reward, the love I'll gain as a result, before it's over? Is it really so wrong to put off thinking about that until after I've paid my debts?
It may have been a trick of words that only those who had suffered through love could understand. Even Rosa was vaguely aware of the possibility that she'd been deceived. However, if she was able to succeed in paying back the loan, he might acknowledge her usefulness as a wife. When that happened, she might be able to regain that love. And if she abandoned that love, this debt, this trial that he had given her, would become completely meaningless. Yes, for her, the debt itself appeared to be a trial of love. Actually, the very fact that she tried to view it that way might have been the blindness of love. Proof that she was still bound by her regrets and obsessed with the past. That pain still continued within her. At the very least, it would remain until she paid back that massive loan. And even then, it would take quite some time before she'd be able to lay her feelings for him to rest.
Could this be that hell Kyrie-sama spoke of? I see. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but there's no doubt that my world has been hell through and through. And how can that be put to an end? Who knows?
Chill!
If anyone did, no one would ever be crushed by the disease of love.
That disease is a serious one. It sometimes eats into a person for their entire life, spreading to and hurting the people closest to them. That disease was torturing her now as much as it ever had.
Well, since you bring up Kyrie-san, her story is like a wish or a dream to me.
Though she had her man stolen from her, she persevered for 18 years. She never fell to despair, and instead continued to support Rudolph, keeping her head down and waiting for a miracle.
Maria is still 9 years old. I've only waited as long as the first half of Kyrie's 18 years. If I gave up after just this, she would laugh at me. Do you think a miracle will occur within 9 years? If I doubt that, it's all over. In a sense, I'm a ghost. I'm already dead. I'm just living on without noticing. A ghost waiting for eternity for a person who will never come. That's right. That day, when I naively said that I wanted to support his dream, I was probably already dead. I guess that really was a regretful day in the end. I have dreams. I want to go overseas. I'll fly out of this tiny country, make it big, and come back to you. That takes me back. At that time, I thought of lovers as a pair of people willing to acknowledge each other's radical dreams. That's why he would always happily cheer me up by talking about how I'd become a successful designer, traveling to Paris to release a new line and getting jostled by the press. When I think about it, I really had my head in the clouds during that strange time. We both lifted the other up, as though we were drifting about in the air. So, when he said that he wanted to get out of Japan, I applauded him and promised to support him.
Acknowledging each other's great dreams with nothing but words is a classic sort of pillow talk between lovers. However, when it actually comes to carrying them out, you need to be more serious and calculating.
For a long time, I felt proud of letting him go on that day. No, I still do. But you still regret it. That's right. If I had sobbed and told him to stop on that day, I might not have fallen into hell. Seeing him off with a smile was my victory? Of course not. It's as though I lost by default by refusing to fight when the time came. I only glorified that loss. Saw him off with a smile as he went to take on the world overseas, and became intoxicated with the illusion that I was some brave woman waiting patiently for a man's return with her daughter. Even though I didn't get a single call from him, and mail sent to the address he'd given me came back, forwarding address unknown. That's the earliest form of ghosting.
Yeah.
This is hell. In this hell, I'll regret not fighting when I should have until the day I die. I've even dragged my daughter into it. I wish someone would just kill me.
Careful what you wish for.
Right now, I want someone to slice me with a red beam from their arm. I want to be told that I've already been killed. That I'm a ghost.
Sorry. I jumped the gun.
In love, if you do not fight, you have to crawl through hell.
Onkled, we'll see. Because, Kyrie's whole thing is that was kind of established way back in Questions arcs. I don't know if Rosa's gonna get anything, but I think we're about to find out, so.
Indubitably. Oh, but first...
Fervor! OMG Fervor, hi!
Yes, love is a fight.
Serious, Zepar and Furfur. I don't know how I feel about that. Will you win and gain, or lose and die?
But please, have no fear of death.
After all, it's a peaceful sleep. What's truly terrifying is the hell where you find the unsleeping ghosts of those who couldn't win, yet couldn't die. That was awful, throwing in such a long sentence with a comma as well and a ... Anyway. That hell has no end. The battle of love is cruelest for those who never even fought, but weren't able to die either.
So, in love, you've got to make it or break it. Dying in battle like that is liberating.
Okay,
They
Plato.
say... Yeah. I was sitting here thinking it was freaking Valhalla, but about love.
Yeah.
They say the most torturous toxin for humans is made from love grown stale. The suffering it brings exceeds the tortures of the most twisted hells.
You trying to say something, Battler? She used this knowledge to try and embolden her double and little sister, encouraging her to take on any trial, no matter how fierce.
I understand. After all, when my desire to have Battler-san accept me one day wells up in my chest, I can feel the seed that resides there. It is up to me to kill that seed or make it bud. However, if I let it rot here in my chest, that poison will surely torment me forever. And that is the most fearsome torture in the world. Even for us 1,000-year-old witches. I'm just now remembering how many times we joked about the indeed last night. See what happens to those who make light of love. This hell of roses
Is what happens to those who do not possess the courage to make the seed of love bud, and instead allow it to rot.
One cannot end that pain by their own hands.
Vine boom sound effect.
Yeah.
Umineko boom sound effect. Beatrice.
Oh.
Where do I go if I want to see that I have a job?
What?
Indeed.
Oh, the joke.
Huh?
Huh?
Just
Doesn't make
now.
any sense.
Was that a red light? Did he do it in one swift move?
Did he do the nothing personnel? Pardon me. Huh? What? Okay. Just now, I thought I saw something strange. I wonder if I'm tired. It's probably just my imagination.
Rosa picked up her cup of cold tea. When she did, she saw a small red rose petal float to the surface. Rose. Huh?
It's back. I have heard that in your youth, you loved to lie on that sofa.
It wasn't a rose petal. It was a drop of blood that had fallen from Rosa's eyes. Her eyes?
Kanon.
In an instant, Kanon had beautifully and precisely cut just a single thread of Rosa's life. There was no wound on Rosa's body. I was about to say, did he do like the cow head puncher thing to her, and that's where the blood was coming from? Like, however, several drops of blood dripped down from her eyes. Her pain, her uncertainties, and her worries were all gone now. Slowly, she fell down onto her side on the sofa. That didn't sound very slowly. This had been one of the happiest things she had done during the happiest day of her life.
Sleep well, Rosa-sama. Again, this is like in the middle of the break of the family conference.
Yeah.
In the parlor.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I mean, gap moment, I guess.
No one else is going to go there because they're all expecting everyone else to go there and they don't want to socialize.
I guess. Your hell has ended.
Kanon took a blanket out of a cupboard and gently covered Rosa with it. To anyone, it would have looked just as though Rosa was sleeping peacefully. They might not even gap this one. They might just leave her there.
That'd be kind of funny, if not tragic.
Those demons had not exaggerated when calling this trial a battle of love. It was at least accurate on this cruel but unassailable fact, that those who have their love shattered meet with death.
So far, Kanon's had the cleanest kill of them all.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my part is complete. Did you see that, demons?
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's not the normal applause sound effect.
Yeah, no.
What? Whoa. Damn.
Are we getting a Rosa counterattack? What's happening right now?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
that makes sense. Okay. I see.
You dare to kill my mama?
Uh-oh.
You dare to kill my mama?
One of the two great witches of Mariage Sorcière, Maria. Though she was just an apprentice, the power sleeping within her had impressed even Beatrice at the height of her strength. In Maria's eyes, though Rosa may have been the Black Witch, she was also the vessel of the mother she couldn't help but love. Her anger at having that stolen from her was near madness.
You dare to... Mama! Mama!
Oh my gosh, it's red.
Epilepsy warning, everyone, by the way.
True.
Maria's attack was too emotional. Because of this, she didn't notice that Kanon had vanished for several heartbeats, and she released her barrage at what had become empty space.
Now, here's the nothing personnel kid.
In the meantime, Kanon jumped from wall to wall around to Maria's back. Oh my god, it really is. Teleports behind you.
Huh?
I don't want to kill past my quota. the messes I've made.
Hey, I figured out how we're gonna get 6 people.
Oh, shoot.
Ryu.
What? Oh wait, sorry, that's you. What am I?
What are you? It's just very silly to me, his little fight pose with the arm up.
Diplomatic immunity. I won't let you target Maria or me.
Okay, well, Sakatoro, I think it's a little bit different if Maria's actively trying to kill him, but
Nope. Damn.
The red curved blade extending from Kanon's hand vanished in an instant. He tried hard to make it reappear, but when he attempted to use it on Maria and Sakatoro again, it vanished once more. Just like strangle her with your hands, Kanon. You can... Because of Sakatoro's power, he was unable to make either of them the target of his attacks.
Oh, shoot.
There you are. How long have you been there? Ryu. I won't let anyone bully Maria.
Damn it.
Maria finally noticed where Kanon was, and she slowly turned around. Kanon made his sword materialize yet again. But no matter how often he tried, it kept fading out, like a flashlight with a bad battery.
I won't let you get away now. I won't forgive you for the sin of stealing my mama away. I'll kill you! Just like Mama killed all of them! I'll kill you without mercy!
What do you mean by that?
Yeah,
What do you mean by
excuse
that? Oh.
As Maria howled, the entire parlor was surrounded by a cube of red magic barriers. It was a closed room symbolizing a barrier that Kanon could never escape.
Damn it. Not here.
Kanon cursed his bad luck. Even though he had fulfilled his goal in the demon's trial, if he was killed here, he'd be dragged off the game board.
Maria, don't overdo it. Yeah, I won't overdo it. I'll be a little more gentle than Mama was.
Getting to dealt symptoms there. Oh, that's a little new.
Those were the Ranove shields.
Ding, ding. I love the sound effect.
Are you? Who is it?
Another? Oh.
Hi, Shannon. New sprite.
True.
Pardon me, Maria-sama. In accordance with the contract with Zephyr-sama and Furfur-sama, I come for your life.
Okay, well that
Crazy turn of events.
crazy turn of events, but also now that has ruined my how we get 6 people. Dang! Damn you! Zephyr and Furfur. I like to think that like everyone in the love room was panicking. Because they were like, no, Maria, how do we fix this? How do we fix this? Shannon, you have to kill Maria. Go.
Yeah. It's like a tag team match.
Shannon, don't get in my way! It's pointless, Shannon. I won't let anyone target Maria. Yes, I don't intend to target her in any way. I will simply protect myself.
That is what Shannon's good at. She
True.
she can hurt you by not trying to. A cylindrical red magic barrier surrounded Shannon as she stood in the center of the parlor. She made its brightness and thickness grow, and its radius suddenly expanded, filling up the room. It wasn't targeting Maria. This power was being wielded to protect Shannon's body. So, Sakataro's power didn't make it disappear.
Neson. you let your feelings for Milady collapse in a situation like this? Get a hold of yourself.
By now, the shield with Shannon at the center had covered up the entire room. Its power crushed Maria and Sakataro into the corner. Ironically, they were perfectly wedged between Shannon's barrier and the closed room barrier Maria had set up to prevent Kanon from escaping.
Alright, I'd rather Kanon take me out than this.
True, yeah.
They're getting hydraulic pressed.
Yeah.
No. I can't escape. I see. This is a closed room. This might be just perfect for that wannabe detective who's trying to deny Byuto's magic.
Checkmate, Maria-sama. Is that acceptable?
Yeah, it's fine. Crush me.
Then here it comes.
Dang!
I would love to see that animated.
I wouldn't. Holy moly. The entire room was filled with the red light of the shield, and the output and pressure were raised to their limits. Then, crushed between the shield and their own closed room barrier, Maria and Sakataro lost their forms, scattered into a golden splash, and disappeared.
Okay, well that wouldn't be that visceral, I suppose, if they do it that way. Golden splash. Thank you. I couldn't afford to disappear here. If you lost in a place like this, you wouldn't be able to let it go.
Well, now we're just back to square one because everyone did their task successfully.
No, we're down one person that hasn't yet.
Okay, well, she's gonna. She's...
Yeah. I wouldn't give up if I lost in a place like this. Stepper-sama, Pfeffer-sama, we have both finished our trials. Is that satisfactory?
The hit
What do you
game?
think, everyone?
Satisfactory?
Oh, we went in different directions there, but yeah. Oh. Shot. What is this one? I don't know yet. Yeah! Truly splendid! No complaints for either of you.
Then, shall we finish with Beatrice's turn? Oh,
Ah, okay.
where did she go?
To the victim she's chosen, of course.
Then
Let's go there as well. Yoink. Okay, so she's already on it.
True, Duke Conklin. This kid is attacking me. I gotta murder her. Oh, Nazi. Poor
Maybe we'll
Nazi.
cut away.
She's
Maybe we'll
always
cut
getting the
away.
short end of the stick.
We might do like a, here's everybody what they're doing in their rooms right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Nazi could be seen in her personal room. Kraus had told her to
Not
go to
gonna
bed.
like
Oh, so it's
this.
Kraus's fault. Okay. But she couldn't afford to lie around sleeping on an important day like this. However, she realized that she was the type to get excited easily. She is? And that this sometimes held her husband back. Oh, you mean in like the she gets overzealous defending him kind of way. Okay, yeah, no, that
Can't you
tracks.
tell that's her excited face?
Yeah, So, though she didn't like it one bit, there was no way around it. It was probably close to the time for the break to end, and the family conference would begin once again in the dining hall. Her husband would have to protect the Ushiromiya family honor from those greedy siblings, all by himself. Well, now we're just down to Rudolph, so
Yeah, it's not that bad.
if she grew emotional by his side, she would just tie him down. though she knew that quietly waiting here was the best way she could support him, that didn't make the waiting any easier. Natsuhi pulled a small treasure box out of a drawer. This was her secret box. Inside was everything from valuable items to mere rubbish. However, they were all precious, memorable treasures in Natsuhi's eyes. She pulled a small pouch out of the box. Whoa.
Weirdo song.
Yeah.
599 million ruins.
Dang.
We've heard it a few times before. I don't remember exactly when, but it's not new.
She stuck her hand inside it. It was a kind of charm that her own family had given her when she had married. A spirit mirror to ward off evil. Her own face reflected in it. Youth doesn't last forever. Recently, she'd seen a bit of her parents and grandparents on her own face. So, by staring at her reflection in the mirror like this, she felt as though her soul had returned to the family she'd been born into. Natsuhi looking into a mirror and the dang avatar thing happening where her family lineage appears.
Dad, Mom, I've always been so ignorant and unable to support my husband.
Of course, her face in the mirror did not answer. However, Natsuhi continued.
I wait here alone because I love my husband. However, I think love means being close to one another. Though I understand logically that staying here is the best way I can help him, I still feel wretched for doing it. It's tough, isn't it? Waiting for the sake of love.
Uh-oh.
With a plop, a tear fell onto the mirror. Old, dear memories of her life at her parents' house rose up inside her. Now was the time for her to follow her parents' example. When her father came home late, her mother would always sit up straight waiting for him, prepared for him to arrive at any moment. She would always wait for him, kneeling in the entrance hall. No matter how late he came home, she would always wake up all the children and line them up to greet him.
At the time, I only thought of her as being exceptionally strict. But at this age, I finally understand how strong she was, persevering in her love for her beloved husband, even after being left in charge of the house while he was out.
This is me.
Okay.
Because of your love for your husband, you couldn't bear to be made to care for an unfamiliar child.
The sudden voice made Natsuhi jump up and look about the room. When she did, there was a Western lady wrapped in an extravagant dress.
Who are you?
Natsuhi was confused. There was no one like this in the mansion. However, though this was her first time seeing this person, it felt as though she had seen her somewhere else. Her mind had gone blank with anger at the ruffian who had snuck into her private room, and confusion over the appearance of someone she didn't know. So, it took quite some time before she realized that this was the witch of the portrait.
Though you murdered a baby you didn't know on that day 19 years ago, I will not hold that sin against you. What are you talking about?
Beato had chosen Natsuhi as her sacrifice. She was Battler's enemy. Huh? Beato didn't know much about the details of Battler's birth. However, she knew about the fragment from the previous game, and knew there was a chance that Battler was the baby that Natsuhi had pushed off a cliff 19 years ago.
Because that was his whole theory.
Yep. Battler had used this blue wedge to protect Natsuhi from certain false charges, but if you took it as a confession by Battler himself, Then from Biyato's position, Natsuhi was an enemy who probably forced Battler to live a painful life. I don't really think he did. He's had a... I mean, he hasn't had the perfect life, but he hasn't had, like, a terrible life. By leaps and bounds, it's been better than his own parents' and aunts and uncles' upbringing.
True from what we see, but perhaps from that fragment, considering he went on a plot to kill his whole family, you could argue he's had a painful life.
If that was him.
Indeed, which Biato thinks it may have been. You killed that baby who lacked your husband's blood for the sake of your love for your husband. So also for the sake of love, I will not hold it against you.
I don't have a clue what you're talking about. Get out! This is my room!
Therefore, please do not hold it against me when I kill you for the sake of my love.
Biato slowly stuck out her arms and made as if to grab something in empty space. That grab bound itself around Natsuhi's neck. Okay, so Beatrice listens to me when I say just strangle him with your hands.
Mm-hmm.
Natsuhi's heels lifted up, and a faint, purple shape appeared around her neck. Natsuhi frantically scratched at her neck, trying to stop whatever was strangling her, but there was nothing there. So, to an outsider, it just looked as though Natsuhi was standing on her toes in anguish, scratching at her own neck.
Both pairs of lovers have shown their determination. I do not think that my love for Battler-san is inferior to theirs. Just as I will not blame you for your sin of 19 years ago, I will not blame myself for this sin.
What would make this even crazier is if in this fragment that never happened.
True.
And Natsuhi's just like, what?
What's going on? This is my room.
As Natsuhi twisted in agony, something she had been grasping fell from her grip. Since it had fallen by her feet, Biato dropped her gaze to see what it was.
Lip balm.
It was Natsuhi's spirit mirror. When she peered into it, there was a sound like a burst of electricity. So much setup of this mirror existing so that this moment could happen. That sound released Natsuhi from the invisible hands and made Biato topple backwards like a doll.
But remember before, this same Biato didn't have an issue with, what was it, spider webs?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it something else as well?
I don't remember. Coughing, Natsuhi tried to comprehend what was going on around her. Biato rolled over and, dizzy as though she had just bumped her head, she slowly tried to stand up. Her eyes were bewildered, as though even she didn't really understand what had happened. Her memory's been wiped again. She's back to nothing again.
True. Restart. What is this? That is surprising. You could touch spiderwebs without trouble, but you can't handle the spirit mirror. Even I don't have a clue what's happening. What in the world?
She had thought that only Biato the Elder possessed non-human weak points, such as getting burned by spiderwebs and wards, and having her power sealed by spirit mirrors. However, for some reason, this spirit mirror alone could apparently affect Biato as well. Well, we don't know that it's just this one alone, but even Biato couldn't understand what about the spirit mirror had such an overpowering effect on her. But Natsuhi was different. She instantly realized that the reason for the hesitation of this unearthly being, the Witch of the Portrait, must be the power of the mirror. So, she rapidly crawled across the floor and picked it up, Then she stuck it out so that Beato could see it. Beato still didn't know what was happening. So, still sitting down, she looked straight at it. And this time, both of them understood the situation completely. Beato realized that the mirror was working some hateful power against her, and Natsuhi realized that the spirit mirror had the power to repel witches.
Why is the mirror?
It's because you're an evil witch. This miraculous spirit mirror repels all creatures of evil.
Don't point it at me.
With the spirit mirror still held out, Natsuhi cautiously closed the gap between them. She was cautious, so as to prevent the other from suddenly lashing out and stealing the mirror, but she steadily moved to corner this evil.
I do not know who you are. All I know is that you tried to kill me. And I know that you are a creature of evil, fearful of the spirit mirror. Begone, evil one!
Beato did not understand what was happening herself. She didn't know why she had to fear this spirit mirror. However, when she tried to look at the bright light let off by the spirit mirror, it pierced her eyes. Though she didn't understand why she must be afraid, she did understand that she must be afraid. By now, Beato realized that this spirit mirror was both terrifying and harmful. As it came closer to her, she felt an increasingly strong and painful burning sensation over her whole body, as though someone was approaching her with a hot iron. She couldn't even open her eyes because of the mirror's bright, painful glint.
Oh, return to the world from whence you came, evil one. I, Ushiromi Natsuhi, do not fear evil in the least.
I guess that's me.
I believe so.
Okay. It's no use. Why? Why is this musty mirror so... If I lose here, I'll be the only one to fear this trial. Okay. Just like George's son and Shannon's son, and Jessica's son and Kanon's son, I also want Battler-san to acknowledge me and treasure me. And even though I finally managed to be honest with myself, in a place like this, I alone will be.
You can't give up, Beatrice. You can't give up. Exactly.
Are you giving up? Only you?
Believe! A miracle of love will surely occur! I love Battler-san.
Well, someone finally said it.
I want him to notice me. And I want him to acknowledge and accept my feelings. If my reason for calling him father and dedicating myself to him was out of duty towards a parent of mine, I would have been satisfied with no reward. That was a deception I used to fool myself. I love Battler-san, and I want him to acknowledge it. I accept it. I won't turn away any longer. I was born because I love Battler-san, and I want him to love me back. And so, I cannot lose. Here.
Begone, evil one! There is no place for you here!
Her determination had come too late. If she had had it from the start, she would probably have managed to finish off Natsuhi right then without any fear. because she had wavered. It had taken time to kill Natsuhi, and things had ended up like this. Should have been should have been Kanon pilled about it. I tried to say pilled and maxing at the same time.
Pax. Milled. Oh, that's me. Okay, in fairness, there was no... I didn't... okay.
No, I'm not, you're good. Okay.
But now, I am resolved. I want to love Patna-san. I want him to love me. And so, I cannot lose here.
Look at that big old fang.
Yeah. After all, I was born for Battle-san's sake. Yes, that is
what we wanted to hear.
Oop.
Just after a sound like a beetle banging off the
Beetle.
walls filled the room. The
You never
spirit
heard beetles banging?
No! The spirit mirror was knocked out of Natsuhi's outstretched hand. Hey, interference! Interference! It fell to the floor. And the stake flying around the room pierced through it with a crash. Oh, which one's it going to be? Is it going to be them? Is it going to be Zephyr and Verver? No, okay.
Lucifer of Pride, right here. You dare mock me by choosing a single old mirror to be my first target in so long? Huh? Lucifer, son? Beatrice-sama, you must complete your trial. She's getting away. Someone, help me! Someone!
Now that the spirit mirror, her last ray of hope, had been smashed, and the number of strange demons had increased, Natsuhi could do nothing but run for it. However, if she made a scene and people gathered, the anti-magic toxin would burn Beato. Now was her last chance.
Thank you, Lucifer-san. Prepare yourself, Ushiromi and Natsuhi.
Once again, Beato choked the thin air. This time, she wouldn't let her escape. She had to end Natsuhi's pain right away before it got too drawn out. But her power wasn't enough. Though Natsuhi scratched at her neck, she also struggled to escape from the room. Her shaking hand stretched out to the lock on the door. A closed room is one of the concepts that allows a witch to be a witch. Just unlocking the door strengthened the anti-magic toxin a little. Since Beato was at her limit even within a closed room, if Natsuhi undid that lock, Beato's power would weaken immediately, and Natsuhi would surely escape into the hallway. Their strengths were matched. However, Natsuhi's began to surpass Beato's slightly. The power of the living to live is fundamentally stronger than the power of magic. Of course, Beato was mustering all her might. However, Natsuhi was just a bit stronger.
I'm gonna guess that's me. Maybe. I'm not sure actually though. Let me double check. No, that's you.
Whoa, we got someone's putting a paragraph in the chat right now.
Ah, that's our creator of the original Erika build.
Ah, hello.
Thanks. I'm glad you stopped by. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah. He made a Dillinor one as well. Sorry, I say he. I don't know. You might be a girl. They made a Dillinor one as well.
Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see if we can do some sort of sharing or something, because it's interesting. When I went back over yours, I mentioned it, but when I went back over yours, it was so insanely detailed. That's a very admirable. You did a lot of good research, I gotta say. And I think both. I think I wanted to make a joke about it, but I didn't know how to do it in a few amount of words. But I wanted to say both Erikas can exist at once by being like, both truths are valid, both Erikas are valid. Because it's like a play on episode 5, but I didn't know how to say it in a short amount of words. My only thing is I just didn't like sneak attack. That was my only reason for otherwise. But I can also I don't know if I said it, but I can also totally see how somebody could be like, I don't want Erika to use magic because that's her thing. Is she's anti-fantasy.
Yeah.
Well, she's not. She's mystery, but still, my point.
Anyways.
I even toyed around for a minute about her being based on a summoning build where she summoned Dillinor.
Dang.
But
I was
but
actually going to
didn't go with
mention that earlier. I was going to say, now you just got to figure out some way to get her to summon Dillinor. It's like
I thought about it. It was a silly idea. But no, we'll have to see about that. I'd like to do a Dillinor one as well. I don't know what other characters I'd like to do builds for. Now I'm thinking. Your initial comment, Thorwin, just got me thinking. But anyway, thanks for stopping back in.
Yep. Anyway, sorry, what were we saying about this?
This is you.
Who?
I don't want to say because they haven't revealed it yet, so just read it and wait for it to happen.
Okay. That's enough. Lucifer, do it.
As you wish.
Lucifer transformed into a stake, and like the time she had smashed Natsuhi's spirit mirror, flew violently around the room. Then, she struck Natsuhi's forehead. Natsuhi crumpled, slowly. When Beato saw this, she also fell to her knees, breathing hard.
Hey, Zepar, does this count? Beatrice didn't complete the trial by her own strength alone, right?
That's right, Furfur. True, this trial must be accomplished without borrowing the help of any other.
But maybe this is an exception?
A pair in love are as one. This doesn't count as help from outside. Atlas son.
That was the only person I could have thought it would have been.
Yeah. I
Because
mean, when you
he
think for a minute,
technically
it's
has
like
the
the only
authority to
one.
command Lucifer. Yeah.
Yeah, but I still didn't want to say it since they weren't showing.
Did you really have to scare me like that as soon as the first twilight?
My apologies. Sorry I didn't listen to your instructions.
Instructions?
Well, I didn't stay in my room.
Beato hung her head apologetically. When he saw this, Adler scratched his head uncomfortably. In that case, I should apologize too. I should have chosen my words more carefully.
No, you did nothing wrong. Father. I mean, Atlas-san.
It's okay. Call me whatever you like.
Huh?
Badler had always looked at the new Beatrice sternly. However, that was gone from his expression now. True, the old you may have called me just Badler. At first, I might have tried to force you to speak to me in that way, but that would be pointless. You are Beato, but you're still you. You can call me whatever you want.
Atlas-san.
Sure, that works great. Can't say being called father is really my thing.
Yes.
Earlier, she had hesitated to just say Badler's name at all. If Badler had told her to say his name without honorifics, she couldn't have done so right now. And even if she had, that might have hurt Badler even more. However, now, she was allowed to call Badler by his name. You just had to look into her eyes to see how happy this made her. I heard from Zepar and Furfur. Seems a strange game has been started.
Yes. Sorry for getting involved all on my own.
No problem. That reckless way you leap in before you understand is really like you. And, well, I've heard about the theme of this game.
I would hope so.
Apparently, you're supposed to play it in pairs.
Yes, that is correct, Lord Battler.
If you can succeed in winning through our trial,
We will bless the pair of you and bestow a miracle of magic upon you.
It seems these guys have been giving their power to Beato's golden butterfly brooch. That means its effectiveness is guaranteed. We've been stuck with each other for a long time now. Nothing wrong with playing this sort of game every now and then.
Battler-san. Oh, did you hear that, Furfur? It looks like Lord Battler is joining in as well.
that's no surprise. After all, we've known since the beginning.
Welcome to our trial, Lord Battler.
So,
Who will your sacrifice be?
I've already done my part. Go and check if you want. Dang!
Very well, Lord Battler. Come, Furfur, let's go check.
yes, let's. But Zephyr, this means that all 6 lovers have succeeded in their trials, right? What should we do next? The
resolve of all 6 is the real deal. Let us test them further in the next trial.
The 2 noisy demons disappeared.
Oh, they're funny.
They had apparently left to go check on the sacrifice Battler had killed. Calling it the sacrifice.
Yeah.
And also so that Battler and Beato, who could finally look each other in the eye and talk, could have some time alone. I'm not sure if Battler and Beato really need the blessing of magic anymore, guys. It's kind of unfair to the other 4 if you're,
Beato's having fun. Leave her alone.
Yes.
She's like playing a game with toddlers as
Yeah.
the only like 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, she's Hachijo Toya right now.
Yep.
We're back in the shop.
What do you think of the tale so far?
When suddenly asked this question, Anja immediately came to her senses. Then, she realized that she had been immersed in Hachijo's tale. She felt a bit defeated and tried to look displeased.
You cleverly tried to distract us with this love trial stuff, but exactly 6 people have died, setting up the first twilight. Impressive.
Oh, you're right. I hadn't realized. It got him. It got... Amakusa clapped his hands as though he'd been outsmarted. Even though he figured it out before... Oh, sorry. Again, I need to remember pretty much 90% of the time when Anja's here, she's the narrator.
Even though he figured it out before me, he played the fool.
It's simply because the number of lovers just happened to be 6. The fact that it matched the number of the first twilight was half coincidence, half design. It's a bit more interesting that way. Feels more like fate.
Humans have the bad habit of taking 2 meaningless phenomena and trying to link them together. Trying to make things seem like fate is a trick of books.
I guess you aren't a fan of Destiny and Miracles, lady.
It's like UFOs. Everyone knows about them, but no one has ever seen them.
There's a... oh, sorry. There's a good metaphor.
So, normally I'd try to skip over all the love and illusions and call them unnecessary, useless scenes for the mystery. But Okonogi-san disagreed with that way of thinking. He thought that, by looking at things without love that way, the truth could never be reached.
Without love! Ah, you mean President Okonogi's catchphrase. Without love, it cannot be seen.
True.
Yeah, that. If I put aside my anger at the person who killed my family in a story, and even speak with respect for Madame Hachijo, the one who wrote this tale, then there must be a point to this depiction. After all, she's used up all these pages talking about love and trials. In other words, those are the themes and key words of this tale.
Oh. And there are many who claim that all words not written in red ink are not worth reading. It is an honor, child of man, that you have read the black letters as well.
I thought they were white.
Huh? Oh, haha.
Really?
Well, I was thinking of like a real book, so I was like, of course they're in black ink, buddy.
It's just the little... Oh. I can't.
Stories are written because the writer has something they want to communicate. And some writers feel that it's unrefined to lay everything out too directly. All of this about how you'll never reach the truth without love has shown up many times in the works before this one. This new work makes that even more striking. It means that that is the one thing the writer wanted to tell the most, the thing that they want us to think about the most. When you think about it, there have been many scenes about love ever since Beato first appeared. Even the first time she appeared before Shannon, she spoke clearly about how love was the single element of the world. And the golden butterfly brooch she had given was also an item of love. She had said that she enjoyed sowing seeds of love and watching complications arise, and when Shannon stopped borrowing her power, the reason for her argument was also love. After her interactions with Battler started up in full, scenes about love were toned down for a while, but the without love it cannot be seen definition of magic has been mentioned repeatedly. Then, in the tale right before this one, when Beato became like a doll, several scenes made it seem almost as though Battler and Beato had accepted each other as rivals, or possibly something more. In the end, Battler had regained some memory, and his impression of Beato had undergone a complete change. And then, in this game, from the beginning until now, the word love has been repeated over and over again. The tale you wrote keeps talking about love. However, that's not Maria One-chan's viewpoint or Beatrice's viewpoint. It's Hachijo Toya's viewpoint.
Correct. That is what I wanted to tell. And it is my own sort of answer.
Answer? Then all the crimes 12 years ago were a trial of love started by strange demons?
Ridiculous. I didn't come here to read a romance novel you wrote. What I want to know is the truth you claim to have reached.
Keep reading.
Yeah, we're not done yet, Anja. We're...
Foolish child of man. After reading all of this, do you still not understand?
With an obviously condescending gaze, Hachijo shrugged. It was clear that she was trying to provoke Anja. She was probably hinting that Anja should just go home if she was annoyed. If you're going to read my noble work and not even attempt to see whether you'll understand it, then get out. Normally, Anja would have already thrown a fit and left. However, she couldn't do that. Though she didn't like someone else toying with her family's fates in a story, she was growing increasingly certain of something else as she read through it. Just as Hachijo's followers said, this tale really does have the same presence, the same scent, as the tales written by Beatrice. The author was certainly different. However, because it reached the real truth, it had the same scent. Anja was beginning to acknowledge this. Hachijo Toya was the one who had reached Beatrice's truth. an endless witch like Beatrice who could add to the endlessly stretching parallel worlds of the cat box.
If one has reached Beatrice's truth, they can create a new tale, whoever they are. With this new manuscript, I'm sure someone besides myself will appear and reach the truth. Those people will be qualified to create new tales of their own.
Infinite Umineko theory?
Oh,
So there will be more and more endless witches.
yes. And these many endless witches will add to Beatrice's catbox tale. Quick side tangent, while I was looking up information about Erika, such as her like weight and height, which there's no official listed thing, I ended up accidentally getting across like a message board where people were talking about like making Umineko fan fiction, and it was like blowing me out of the water.
Dang.
Did not stay long to read it though, because it was really cursed. But anyway,
I could bet.
the more they add to it, the more people will reach the truth. When that happens, the very first endless witch, Beatrice, will finally be rewarded for writing such long letters, packing them in bottles, and throwing them into the sea. You might have yelled at me angrily and risen from your seat. However, you did not. Why?
I hate to admit it, but I'm starting to think that your tale has some kind of truth or hint within it. I already have my own ideas. However, that's no more than looking with a single eye. Unless I accept a different viewpoint from my own and look at things from more than one angle.
Turning the chessboard around, you could say.
I'll never be able to see the truth in 3 dimensions. That's my interpretation of, without love, it cannot be seen.
Very well, child of man. Perhaps as the final survivor of the Ushiromiya family, it was fated that you would find the truth and become an endless witch. I exist only as a guidepost to awaken you as the true successor. Anje Beatrice.
Sometimes, I don't understand what she's saying. However, she knows something. And maybe, she actually has reached the truth as she claims. In other words, I didn't learn the truth even after reading the 2 message bottles Beatrice left behind, and I'm now reading tale after tale filled with hints. So, these hints are challenges, provoking me to think.
Indeed.
Perfect. I'll find this truth you say you've reached. It's a good thing I came here.
That it is. I invited you here because you hadn't found it yet, child of man.
Let the truth I see and the truth you see overlap. Just as you see things with a single eye, so do I. Now that I've found you, I can finally see the truth with both eyes.
I like that little ditty that plays. That's like the Featherine theme.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Hi, Erika.
the star of the show today, apparently.
Yeah.
With how much we've talked about her without her even being on screen.
Yeah, welcome back.
So, the first twilight has finally happened. Everything so far has made me so sleepy.
You have some sleep in your eye.
Really, where? Oh, I didn't mean to. Huh? Where? Mind your own business.
As you wish. Let's begin. First off, the first twilight.
Shoot. That chapter was called The Fate of Those Who Do Not Fight.
Interesting. Erika
Next
is
one.
here. Yeah, she is. She's back.
I feel like I'm gonna be cursed to the same fate I always have in most of these types of games. Like when we get to Golden Fantasia, I'm gonna love Erika the character, hate
And
her
she's
play
gonna be
style.
bad. She's.
Yeah. Next chapter we're going into is about the crime scene. And I will go ahead and say this will probably be my last because the lack of sleep's really weighing in.
Yeah, I bet so. I
But that's
figured
okay, we're
I figured
pretty
we would
far
probably
ahead.
just do about a 2-hour today. So once we're done with this chapter, we'll be done.
Yeah, because you and I have plans. I'll try to get
Yes,
a nap
we do.
in.
Erika was dozing off on her bed, so when a knock sounded on the door, it took some time before she noticed. We also completely glossed over that last time Erika dumped her entire backstory on Dillanor, and also did it in a way that implied in the first few seconds she was confessing to Dillanor.
I love that. I love that whole scene.
It was a very good scene.
And it's good lore for her. And Dillanor was just like, what's going on?
She looked at the clock and saw that not much time had passed since she had lain down.
Yes, who is it? I hope you have a good reason for knocking on the detective's door at an hour like this.
Dead!
That's right. I have one thing to say before we begin this game.
Oh? Oh, that detective proclamation thing. Do as you wish.
No, I mean the opposite. I say we raise the stakes. Raise the stakes? What's this?
It's been a while since we've gotten you.
Now that sounds interesting. What do you mean?
It's simple. Badler got a shot off at us in the last game. So, if Erika does the same in this game, we're only even.
Wasn't the last game a tie?
We failed to win a game that should have been a shoo-in, right? If that isn't a loss, I don't know what is. Right, Erika?
Yes, my master. If I hadn't failed so miserably, we would have won that game easily. Oh, I get it. So this time you'll intentionally fight at a disadvantage by not making a detective proclamation. And win despite that. You're scheming to not only wipe out your loss from the previous game, but to totally flip the score upside down, right? You intend to participate in the game Badler-san poured his heart and soul into with a foolish handicap like that? That is not only presumptuous, it's quite rude.
You've got a point there. It sounds more like an excuse just in case they lose.
True, you could also look at it that way. If they win, it's a great victory. But if they lose, Erika's side has a nice little excuse. Isn't that a bit unsporting? What? You were already there.
She's gotta give the flair.
Don't worry, this bet is balanced on both sides. If this game is won by a human without the detective proclamation, it'll be impossible for Badler and the others to pick up the pieces of the illusion of the witch. But on the other hand, if Erika loses, that detective trash will be sent into the depths of oblivion along with the worst possible fragment.
If Badler loses, he just can't argue anymore. But if Erika loses, she gets annihilated from existence forever.
It's balanced, it's fair.
Yeah,
see?
it's balanced and fair.
See? That's balanced, isn't it?
Dang!
An ultimate victory with a mere human, not a Superman detective destroying the illusion of the witch. She's putting her own destruction on the line to make that bet. I've gotten bored with these sluggish repeating games that you and the former Beato made. So we're raising the stakes and settling it all at once.
We still have 2 more episodes, Burkestel.
Well, that is true. If Badler makes it through this game, it'll mean that Badler has won Beato's game, and the game will end. In a sense, it's a showdown you can't escape, right?
We still have 2 more episodes, guys. I see your position. Are you okay with that, Erika?
Yes, of course. In order to regain my master's trust in me, which was lost by my previous defeat, I will risk even my own destruction.
Is that of your own will?
What's wrong, Erika? Answer him. Okay? Obviously, this is my own will.
So you didn't read. No.
I certainly will not lose. Even without the detective proclamation, I will defeat you no matter what. Battle-san.
Sure. That's fine. If that's what you want, I'll accept that challenge.
Thank you very much. I'll make sure you regret it. After all, when Batman played for the human side, he never had anything as convenient as the detective's authority. All he was allowed to do was use the blue truth and demand that Beato repeat things he said. Exactly. In a way, the last game was unfair.
What, really? No.
We failed to win despite that, which is why it was no different from a loss.
Do what you want. If you feel like making a detective proclamation, do it whenever you like. I understand that you're holding it in reserve at the moment.
As if I'd use such a thing against an opponent like you. Hello. Then get started, you two. I'm already starting to get bored. Leave it to me, my master. I will destroy the illusion of the witch for you without fail.
I don't think she's doing this of her own will, guys. I don't...
What?
George and Jessica had been the ones knocking on Erika's door. Hey, we killed people. We need you to go look at it. We
need you to find out who did it.
Yeah. They were asking whether Battler and Maria had come to this room. Of course, they hadn't.
A good while ago, they went downstairs, saying they wanted to get something to drink. We thought they might have come to your room.
Did Battler kill himself? That's funny. That's...
Of course not. Why would they? Are you sure they didn't go to the mansion? We called the servant room and the dining hall of the mansion, but no one picked up.
Rat time.
Amazing, by the way. I think even the people doing this had too much fun with her sprite, but I can't be upset.
Please stay here, you two. I'm going to go check the mansion.
Hey, it's dangerous to go out this late.
How could a stranger sneak into the sealed-off island?
You did that.
Stay in that cousin room of yours. I'll contact you if anything happens. Also, tell the servants in the guest house servant room not to leave the building. Bye.
Just... Bye.
But wait a second! Erika-san!
This chapter is at 1:11 a.m., so it's nearly an hour from the beginning of the last one.
Okay.
Anyway. She's a strange kid.
After speaking her mind and not listening to anything else, Erika had dashed down the stairs and rushed outside. It's happening! It's happening!
True. Everybody stay calm.
The first twilight usually starts in the morning, but it looks like we've got an early fight this time. No crime has occurred in the guest house, so that means the stage of the tragedy is in the mansion.
Though she had an umbrella up, Erika got drenched as she sprinted. She brashly licked the raindrops that dripped down her face. Erika was at her most energetic. Oh no.
This right here, this is what me and the Duke in our chat, this is what we live for, these Erika moments.
Yeah. According to her memory from the previous game, the entrance hall to the mansion would be locked after the start of the family conference. However, the lock was undone this time because George and Ava had someone unlocked it, or had the lock not been set, or had it not been possible to set the lock.
Well, no point thinking about it now. After all, that might just be a whim of the Game Masters.
As soon as she entered the entrance hall, the door to the parlor opened violently. Out of it flew Goda's large body.
Ah, good evening, Koda-san. Is something the matter?
Oh, actually, kind of, yeah. Police! Ambulance!
This assuredly
That's
is her,
definitely
right?
you, yeah.
That expression really is wonderfully pathetic. Just perfect for the first one to discover the crime. Please calm down. How could the police or an ambulance get to an isolated island inside a typhoon? I'm sure the phones are out anyway, so please calm yourself.
You know, this all would be so much easier if Kinzo had just set up an entire personal police department on Ushiromia. On Rokkenjima.
Personal police force makes it less likely for a miracle to happen.
Dang. That probably would be the logic, huh? That
would be his logic,
Yeah.
especially.
Yells from Kraus and Rudolph's group could be heard from the parlor. Their shaken appearance perfectly signified the coming of the first twilight.
Oh.
We're speeding through it.
Yeah.
Well then, give me the victims, the scene, and a reconstruction of the situation.
Those who left to take a break didn't come back, so the adults went to the parlor. When they did, the door was sealed from the inside and they couldn't open it. You'll see later, but the hat stand in the parlor had been used to bar the double doors from inside.
So you're trying to say that the door is blocked from the inside and the windows were also locked from the inside?
That's it. When they went around and looked into the parlor through the window, they saw Rosa lying on the sofa in an unnatural position with blood pouring from her forehead. They then smashed the glass, entered the parlor, and discovered that Maria was also there, lying by the wall and covered in blood.
Okay, better than what it would have probably looked like.
Mash.
Yeah.
Got it. Yes, that would make them yell. Any other crime scenes?
The entrance wasn't locked when you came into the mansion because they went out through it to check the parlor from the outside. Oh, that makes sense too. It had been locked before they left through it, so there was a chance that the others who had gone missing were lying elsewhere within the mansion, and the adults are now searching the entire building.
So, do the places the victims died match that long, crazy delusion you showed earlier?
They match.
Rosa and Maria were in the parlor. Beyond that, Natsuki was in her own room and Kyrie was in Krause's study.
Didn't Ava get moved?
Ava
Yep.
was in the rose garden. No, wait, she was moved to the VIP room, wasn't she?
Yes. Ava's corpse was found in the VIP room.
That makes 5 victims. Ah, that's one short for the first Twilight. Who's the 6th person and where?
A body has been discovered.
Kraus-sama! The chain on this room is also set.
Cut it! The culprit might be hiding in there.
Goda, do it!
Look at those men. Holy cow.
They're so hot. No. Rudolph and Kraus said, bro, I understand why Kyrie and Nazi.
I so get Kumasawa now. That's good.
Rudolph and Kraus had brought Winchesters from Kinzo's prized collection. They yelled at Goda, who was carrying the wire cutters, to cut the chain. The victims had been found, one after another, at several locations inside the mansion. I think that this is probably going to be the logic trap. I think Battler killing... Ooh, I'm assuming Battler killed Battler. in this room, and I think it's going to be a logic trap for him. The victims had been found one after another at several locations inside the mansion. The men who had lost their wives searched through the mansion in a rage looking for the culprit. This was a guest room. It had previously been a room where the relatives would stay, but it hadn't been used much since the construction of the guest house.
Oh yeah, they didn't show him, but Hideyoshi would also be among the men that lost their wives, huh?
True. This forgotten room had been sealed from the inside by the chain.
Oh gosh.
As soon as the chain was cut, Rudolph pushed Goda aside and flew into the room.
Is anyone there? Get out here!
There's someone on the bed!
Let's see some light, Haneki.
When Kraus pushed a switch on the wall, the guest room lit up, and the figure lying on the bed came into view.
Peddler! Damn it! What are you doing in a place like this?
Rudolph's knees crumpled, and he fell over Battler's corpse. We've never had Battler die before his parents, so we've never gotten to see a Rudolph or Kyrie, but Kyrie is obviously not here, reaction to this. No words could console him as he cried with a mad sorrow. In a single night, he had lost both his wife and his son. During this time, Kraus checked the window and the bathroom and searched the closet to find if anyone was hiding there, but found no one.
Battler. Battler. Damn it.
How sad. I can't believe it. But this room is also a closed room. What? Again? Yes. My study, where Kyrie-san was, Natsuhi's room, the VIP room with Eva, the parlor with Rosa and her daughter. And now, Battler-kun in this guest room. They're all closed rooms, aren't they? I don't understand. It couldn't be suicide, could it?
That's impossible. How could this be a suicide? Battler.
Oh, there's a surprise. To think that you yourself would be the sixth person.
It's more interesting to kill yourself off every now and then.
True. Also true to Duke.
And all of the crime scenes are closed rooms. It's a murder that couldn't have been performed without magic. Isn't seeing through that the point of this game? In other words, it must be a murder that could have been performed without magic. After all, if it really could be done only with magic, this wouldn't be a game.
That's an interesting thought. Yes, that is the sort of game we've been playing. This game is fair. The goal is to explain without magic the strange crimes that are claimed to be caused with magic. If that couldn't be done, it wouldn't be a game. In other words, as Erika had said, they must be murderers that could have been they must be murders, not murderers, that could have been performed without magic. To turn it around, the witch side had a certain responsibility. They had to make a crime that could be reproduced with tricks and not magic. I don't like what you're setting up here, game, right now. I feel like you're building to something. Unless the human side could see through to those tricks. I was right the first time. The witch side could use all kinds of magic and illusions. In other words, in order to carry out a closed room murder with magic, it was necessary to create a crime that would be possible by human hands. I've been thinking this entire time, but we have very limited information of what is read about that room that Battler's in right now. So I'm still not sure quite how it could be done without the logic trap. But there's also a reason that it's a logic trap in the first place, is that even Battler oopsied and got stuck. So...
Oh, just you wait, buddy.
Now I understand. I see why. When I ordered the Seven Sisters to kill my classmates back at St. Lucia's, they couldn't do what I told them. And I understand the meaning of Mammon's words.
Magic can only do what you can accomplish by your own hands. Is that it?
At that time, if I had possessed the determination to kill my classmates... no, that's not it. At that time, if I had been capable of killing my classmates, capable of pulling it off, then the Seven Sisters of Purgatory would probably have pulled it off for me. They could only accomplish what I could do myself. No, that's not it either. They could take what I had accomplished and turn it into magic. However, because there had been a great number of witnesses in that classroom, it would probably have been impossible. It would have been burned by that anti-magic toxin Maria Onecha and the others always talk about.
Just kill everyone.
However, if I had called those classmates out somewhere without witnesses, and if I had succeeded in murder, at that point, the Seven Sisters of Purgatory would be capable of carrying out a magical murder. Even with magic, witches cannot do things that they cannot accomplish by themselves. They can only adorn things they're capable of doing with magic.
Interesting. And that is because those who accomplish something without using magic later claim that magic was used and call themselves witches. This Erika person has understood that since the beginning. That's why she will never surrender to witches. She is confident that it must be explainable with tricks. The old battler was toyed with so frequently because he did not possess that conviction.
Once you see through that rule, the witch loses any chance at victory. That's why they have to make their opponent surrender before they see the truth of that rule. The longer the match is drawn out, and the more hints are given, the greater the witch's overwhelming disadvantage becomes. Once again, this reasoning keeps spinning around in circles. Why did Beato let this game draw out until she lost? Many victims had been found, and the mansion was still wrapped in chaos.
Hideyoshi's group seemed to have gone to the guest house, worrying about the safety of the kids there. Kraus and Rudolph's group was in the hall, talking about what should be done next.
They're already being sequestered into groups.
During a short gap in this chaos, Erika dashed all about the mansion. She was checking the crime scenes. Normally, with the detective's authority, Erika had the right to openly investigate the crime scenes to her heart's content. However, this time she hadn't yet made use of that authority. She was a guest and an outsider, so there was little to no chance that she would be allowed to investigate. So, she was forced to quickly check all of the crime scenes now, while she could still run about as she pleased. In the servant room, there had been a clear folder containing a sketch of the mansion's interior. But because she had borrowed that, she knew the locations of all the rooms. Hey, can I see that? I want to see the layout of the mansion.
See, the thing is, there's no current existing actual layout. Did I tell you about that? Yeah, because we played that. Yeah, it's a nightmare.
Erika skillfully made her way through the mansion, dashing into each crime scene in turn. I have my own mental layout that I've sort of constructed of the mansion, but
I can tell you where some of the rooms are, but when you ask me like where like some specific rooms are, i.e. like Krause's study, Natsuhi's room, as opposed to just guest room number 5,
yeah,
it gets confusing.
Yeah. Did I already read this?
Yes.
Okay.
For those of you at home, this whole mansion is actually based off of a very real place that we've talked about before. But the actual interior, while parts of it are still based off of it, such as the parlor, the entire map is a blend of the real world building and fiction/fantasy invented by Ryukishi. So the only one who truly knows the whole layout is him, if even he still knows it.
Yep. Also, OMG Delano High.
Yeah.
Lady Erika, I believe you know, but allow me to warn you just in case.
Yes? What is it?
It is true that you have had an incredible photographic memory, Lady Erika. That, combined with the detective proclamation, is what made it possible for you to avoid being deceived by anything.
Yeah, I get it. Since no detective proclamation has been made about me, even my photographic memory doesn't count as foolproof evidence. Of course, I understand that. Still, that doesn't mean I can afford to miss viewing the crime scenes directly. After all, in the last game, my pride in that regard led me to a truly miserable failure.
For example, by this argument, no matter how well you examine a person's corpse, you could not even guarantee that they were not faking their death with absolute certainty. Most probably, features of this situation must be individually confirmed by telling Battler to repeat them in red.
And I'll need to use the blue truth liberally in order to make him. I understand. Let's start with the basics. The lack of the detective's authority is no handicap. It simply means that I'm fighting under the same conditions Battler once was.
Yes. This fight is retracing the old days when Battler and Beato fought so fiercely. Back in the good old days.
Mm-hmm. They need to quit doing that to me.
I have nothing as convenient as the detective's authority. I just have to truly fight the same way the old Battler fought. Thinking of it this way, it may be true that I was given quite a favorable, unfair position last game, just as my master had said. It may be difficult without the detective's authority, which is also my pride and honor as a detective. But I won't let that be a handicap. I know what magic is, and I'm fully aware of how to fight with the red and blue truths. I know the way to fight in this game many times better than the old Battler did. I quickly visited the VIP room, Krause's study, and Nazi's room on the second floor, as well as the parlor and the guest room on the first floor. This time checking with my own eyes, as I had failed to do in the last game.
Oh. Dead?
Blah, 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 blah.
Dead.
Witnessed.
Corpse found in a room. Didn't perform proper investigation. Details are unknown. VIP
Oh,
room.
that's why they're half
Krause's
dead.
study. Battler. Guest room. Parlor.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever
2,
seen that
3,
before.
4, 5, 6. Yeah, no, this is new. Having it
They're
be.
half dead just
Yep.
because we can't confirm it.
Yep.
Crazy.
First off, all of the scenes were made to look like closed rooms.
I'm imagining this is still me. I don't know.
I would
though.
think
it probably is. I think it is. Yeah.
Probably of special note was the fact that the master keys could have had nothing to do with the trick. The closed rooms were all made without relying on any elements that could be locked or unlocked from the outside by a master key or something else. The windows were locked from the inside, and the doors were all locked and chained. The master key could get around all the locks on the doors, but not the window locks or the chain locks. I haven't yet had Battler confirm that it's impossible to manipulate those from the outside, but I'm sure he'll be able to say it in red. It'd be stupid otherwise. I understand. Right now, I'm a mere human. I can't even properly confirm the death of the corpses. Last time, I neglected to check the corpses and let a massive bit of magic get by me. I won't fail like that again. If I did, I wouldn't be able to face the master I am so indebted to.
We have checked all of the scenes and finished gathering information. Here is our report.
Go ahead.
First, all of the rooms were closed rooms formed by the window locks and chain locks and the like, so that interference from the outside would be difficult. The only exception is the parlor, where Rosa and Maria lay dead.
Please allow me to speak. Let it be known that the door was barred with a hat stand.
It is thought to be substantially the same as a chain lock, in that it can only be set from the inside. It is probably their goal to construct closed rooms where explanations using master keys are made completely ineffective. The parlor has no chain lock due to its very nature, so it is natural that something else would be used in the chain's place.
In that case, the interesting question becomes why one of the other rooms with chain locks wasn't chosen to be a closed room. There were several guest rooms other than the one Battler lay dead in, all with similar layouts, correct?
Sorry, I was taking a sip.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that is correct.
In that case, even though it should have been more beautiful to throw them in there so that everyone would be inside a chain lock closed room, they did not. That hat stand door bar in the parlor seems very suspicious. I should probably pursue this when demanding red truths. Also, we have corpses. But are they the same absolute deaths with their necks sliced open like in the last game, which could be confirmed even without the detective's authority?
Of course, she had checked all the corpses in all the crime scenes this time. However, without the detective's authority, she had no guarantee that she would be able to see through any fake deaths with certainty. The old battler had also started fighting by doubting whether the victims were truly dead. It was the same for Erika.
Please allow me to speak. Know that there were no corpses that could have been confirmed dead with certainty by physical means.
Please allow me to speak. We cannot deny the possibility that any of the corpses might be a fake death.
Well, I doubt Battler will easily confirm their deaths in red even if I tell him to. Sheesh. I liked Beato's chain of 6 closed rooms better. However, these closed rooms are even more complete considering that master keys don't help you at all.
There are 2 general ways of breaking closed rooms that Battler might be after. An illusion of a closed room, or an illusion of a crime. It'll be one of those.
I get the first one. That's when something looks like a closed room but it actually isn't, right? What do you mean by an illusion of a crime?
An illusion that makes it seem as though a crime has occurred. In other words, are they really dead?
Well, that's dumb. If the people inside are alive, handling any kind of closed room is like pissing in a toilet.
Toilet theory! Toilet theory's back!
True! I forgot we did that.
Still, with this closed room, it's pretty hard to think of any other answer.
What about the endless possibilities of manipulating the chain lock from the outside? We don't know if there are any secret doors, ways to kill from a distance, chances of suicide, or even whether these are complete closed rooms in the first place.
I already know since I'm looking at Battler's game board from the underside. But these are perfect closed rooms. They can only be constructed from the inside, and there exists no method by which to construct, deconstruct, or interfere with them from the outside.
Can you say that in red?
That'd be a little too rude to Battler, so no. If you do love me, you must see my words as red truth already, right?
Then the closed rooms are perfect.
Dang!
In other words, this is an illusion of a crime.
It does seem that way. If so, these are all trick closed rooms. Doesn't this mean that everyone got so pissed at Erika bragging about detectives and stuff that they joined together and set up a fake murder to make fun of her? Oh, is that the right answer? I'm like a super detective!
Store.
Unfortunately, this isn't a fake. The victims really have been killed.
Huh? And you don't mean by 2400 on the second day, right?
No detective proclamation has been made, but she's very accurate when examining corpses. She's good enough that I could give her examinations the red truth.
So, does that mean that they were definitely dead when Erika examined their corpses?
Yes, that's right. Totally.
But you won't say it in red for her, right? And that poor Erika must want it so bad.
Well, she isn't even the detective this time around. I won't give her any red.
Still, that makes it incredible. This time, Rattler's really made a perfect closed room.
Oh yes, I believe you're right.
Will Erika be okay? It looks like an ordinary closed room murder at a glance. But this one is pretty nasty. Will this load be a bit too heavy for Erika without her detective authority?
She is a self-proclaimed detective. I'm sure she'll pull through. If Badler and Beato are defeated by a mere human who isn't even a detective, they'd fall apart in the most exquisite way. Don't you think?
And even if Erika loses, you get to play by thriving her into the worst fragment and knocking her into the depths of oblivion?
Exactly. No matter how it turns out, it won't be boring.
You really are heartless, aren't you? Well, hanging out this black cat like a towel and licking up every last drop is bliss to me!
Oh?
Beato's game board did entertain me for quite some time, but we've already wrung everything we can from it. It'll be over with this game. So in the end, we really must let Badler and Erika bet everything in one final face-off.
And I wanted to play with you forever in this game. What a shame.
Come now. I've spent plenty of time with you already. Go find me another interesting game. If you do, I'll play with you again.
Ah. Yes, you really don't let me get bored. That's okay, Baron Castell.
Full legal name.
Seeing your face twist with anguish is the one forbidden honey I've found for myself.
Lambda Delta had guaranteed that it was a perfect closed room. Bernkastel had guaranteed that it was a perfect murder. A perfect closed room. And murder. I feel like the game's mocking me.
Yeah?
The witches hate a killjoy, so they haven't said anything with the red truth yet. Pursuing that was the role for Battler and Erika.
Well, maybe they'll crack it.
I sure hope so. Looks like you've trampled all over the crime scenes by now. Satisfied? Is your inspection complete?
Yes, I'm satisfied. So about our war of red and blue. Shall we start right away? Or do it all in the end?
I don't like putting things off. I think the same goes for you.
What is this one's where? Right? Yeah.
Then let's get started with the closed rooms of the first twilight. First, I'd like to check. Do you intend to respond if I ask you to repeat something in red?
Depending on what you say, yes. I have no obligation to respond to everything, and I won't reveal my reasons when I refuse.
Good. Then let's start simple and confirm the definition of a closed room. Dylanor, please read it aloud.
Understood. We demand that the following be repeated.
Dylanor spread out one of those scrolls that some official would always spread out when announcing the king in Western fairy tales and read it aloud.
Great. But do you think it's a left to right or a top to bottom scroll?
Both.
First, the rooms with the 6 people in them are all closed rooms.
Acknowledged. Of course, that's only until Goda and the others severed the chains and destroyed the closed rooms. At a nod from Dylanor, Cornelia, who stood behind her, started taking notes.
I don't know if you're going to ask it or care about it, but I will tell you, anytime Battler says the acknowledged, he is red-truthing whatever was stated.
What they're stated, yeah.
Yeah.
Second, the definition of a closed room implies that it is impossible to construct from the outside.
Acknowledged.
In other words, no trickery done from the outside can construct a closed room. It is not permitted for a chain lock to be reset from the outside by a cleverly used wire, for example. I didn't need you to tell me that. Dylanor, please continue.
Third, the definition of a closed room implies that all forms of interference that pass between the inside and outside of the room are prevented.
Acknowledged. However, I won't deny the kinds of interference that you'd expect from a normal room, such as knocks, voices, and the extension telephone line.
Fourth, at the time of the deconstruction of the closed rooms, none existed within the rooms except the victims, Natsuhi, Eva, Kyrie, Rosa, Maria, Battler.
Acknowledged. In this way, they could confirm whether or not the culprit had been hiding inside a closed room. If the culprit had slipped out of the room after the discoverers had noticed the murders and then walked away, it would have been possible to construct an illusion of a closed room. Because Battler had acknowledged their statement with the red truth, the possibility that the culprit and the victim had both been inside the closed room at the time of the crime, and that the culprit had hidden under the bed and snuck out after the discovery of the crime, had been denied.
Fifth, no murder was committed after the deconstruction of the closed rooms.
I refuse.
Why? Because the victims really were alive after the closed rooms were destroyed? So, Kraus and the others who barged in were the culprits and committed the murders then? In other words, they were post-closed room murders. Is that why you refuse? Not at all. The murders will continue to occur, so we cannot say in red that no murders will happen after this. Sheesh. What twisted logic.
I really don't feel like it is twisted, Erika.
You probably see what we're getting at. Kraus's group cut the chain and destroyed the closed rooms, then killed the people inside. I just want you to counter this.
Lady Erika, it is insufficient to refer to Kraus's group, an unspecified number of people. You should first determine which humans entered the room after the closed room was deconstructed.
Allow me to speak. Accepting the victims, those who entered the closed room were Kraus, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda.
Allow me to speak. This is based on spoken testimony. Know that there is no proof that the others did not enter.
I know that already. Let's have you repeat that. After the deconstruction of the closed rooms, then excluding me, only Kraus, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda entered the rooms.
Sure. Acknowledged. However, this only applies to the current point in time. It's possible that some later development in the game will cause more people to enter.
Repeat it. Kraus, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda are not culprits.
Battler put his finger on his chin, deep in thought. This word, culprit, was fairly broad, and it might serve to greatly restrict the darkness of the witch.
Why not answer? If we refuse, the blue truth naming Kraus and the others as the culprits will remain.
Sure. I'll acknowledge it, but I'll make the language more strict. Kraus, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda were not involved in the murders of Natsuhi, Eva, Kyrie, Rosa, Maria, and Battler.
And that means it was also impossible for any of the other humans who didn't even enter the closed room to have been involved with murder, doesn't it?
Who knows? Think about it yourself. If you think you can build up some blue truth for how a closed room murder can be committed without entering the room, then I'll respond with the red truth. However, I only need to destroy one of the blue truths you'll be presenting from here on out. In other words, even if you do manage to use the blue truth and explain this away with some long-distance closed room murder trick X, I don't necessarily have to counter that with the red truth. These are the rules of the witch's game. Hanja had confirmed these details with Beato in the fourth game. The witch side lays out riddle after riddle that it claims are impossible to carry out except by magic. The human side must use blue truth to argue that they are explainable with tricks. And if they fail to make a counter-argument with the blue truth for even one of the riddles, that riddle will be considered to have been done by magic. And it will be impossible to deny the existence of a witch. In other words, the witch side only needs to protect any one of its riddles. However, the human side has to fully explain all riddles with the blue truth. And even if the human side manages to explain all of the riddles with the blue truth, if any one of those is successfully countered by the red truth, the witch will win. That was why, like the strategy the old Beato had adopted at the end, it was sufficient for the witch side to put off their red text counter-arguments until the very last moment, then make a single strike at their opponent's most fragile spot. Hello, Tommy.
Hola!
In any event, you refused to repeat that last one, right?
Don't get the wrong idea. I don't give out red for free.
Good.
From the witch's side's perspective, repeating statements made by the human side is just a supplement to make sure that they haven't misunderstood the question. Therefore, they had no obligation to respond to extremely broad demands.
Not bad. Looks like you can handle being a player on the witch side pretty well, too.
Your experience is no match for mine.
Dylanor!
Let us continue. Next, the victims did not die by any method other than homicide.
Acknowledged.
Of course. There were no suicides or accidental deaths.
Seventh, the victims.
That's enough, Dylanor.
Are you sure? There are still items.
Yes, that will do fine. I've confirmed the status of the crime scene. From here on, it's time for me to argue back with the blue truth.
Sure, fine. Let me hear your masterful theories.
Nope.
Though Battler and Erika were enemies, it looked to Beato as though they were having a little fun doing this. She was probably slightly jealous of Erika. Beato thought back on the books she had read in Featherine's library, in which the old her and Battler had fought. That must have been fun as well. During a short break in the family conference, a horrible, brutal mass murder had occurred. The 6 people killed, excluding Battler, had all been women. The remaining men went mad with rage at this cowardice, then broke down sobbing at the sadness of losing their wives over and over again. Why were they all women? How cowardly can a person be?
What's wrong with us? Here we are, under the same roof, and we're just smoking away, not noticing that members of our own family are getting killed. Damn it!
But who? And how? They were not unguarded. The chain was set for all of them.
Who gives a damn about that? I don't care how they were killed, I just want to know who did it.
Hey, Genji-san, Goda-san. Were the doors and windows to the mansion all locked during the family conference? Yes, there can be no doubt. In accordance with Madam's instructions, everything is always locked at the time of the night patrol. Tonight was a special case, so everything was locked up right after seeing the children off to the guest house.
How is that possible? I mean, Battler and Maria-chan were inside the mansion, right? They shouldn't have been able to get in, right?
If everything really was locked up properly, that couldn't have happened. Doesn't that prove that the building wasn't completely locked up? Well? He was arguing that Goda's failure to lock up properly might have allowed a stranger to sneak in. At the very least, none of them had known that Battler and Maria had visited the mansion. If those two had come and found everything locked tight, they wouldn't have been able to get inside. If they had rung the doorbell, Goda would probably have heard them from the servant room, but Goda said nothing of the sort had happened. How had they entered the locked mansion? How they had entered the locked mansion was a complete mystery. This is merely an idea, but, for example, what if Madam or someone happened to be near the entrance, noticed Battler-sama and Maria-sama knocking on the door, ringing the bell, and let them in?
That couldn't have happened. You were in the servant room then, right, Goda-san? Isn't there a chime in the servant room that goes off when the front door opens? There's no way you would have missed anyone.
Well, at that time, Goda was serving drinks as you requested, so he was not in the servant room.
Why was there only one servant in the mansion on such an important day? Why was someone as important as Genji-san on duty in the guest house? Does that make any sense? Why was the servant room left empty?
My wife formed those shifts. She probably hoped that Goda would be kind enough to serve some fashionable drinks throughout the family conference as well. But Krause-Nissan, this is the family conference, right? The most important day of the year, right? Why was Goda-san left as the only person on shift in the mansion? If there had been just one more person, everything would be different, wouldn't it? Right? With a half-crying, half-enraged, jumbled-up expression, Hideyoshi yelled at Goda. Of course, the culprit who killed everyone was the most to blame and the most despicable. However, even if he understood that, he needed to let off some of his emotions by hating someone he could see.
I am fully aware of how everyone feels. However, please calm down. Either Goda-san wasn't thorough when locking up, or someone let Battler-san and Maria-san in after they came back from the guest house and then forgot to lock up afterwards. However, that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with how the culprit snuck in. After all, the mansion is massive. They might have come in much earlier and hid until late at night for all we know. I can understand that you might want to suspect certain people, but please calm down.
Our guest is right. The culprit is the one we should hate, not the servant who just happened to be on duty. At any rate, let's calm down. I feel as terrible as the rest of you. However, we must take the initiative now and regain our composure.
Aniki.
Everyone feels just as sad and devastated, and none of us will ever forgive the one who did this. For that reason, we must regain our composure. He's right. I still have George. Krause-Nissan still has Jessica-chan. And Rudolph-kun, You still have Anja-chan waiting for you to return, right? It's still too soon to start pointing fingers.
The culprit is still on this island, and we can't be sure that this tragic crime is over. We need to stay calm and prevent any further tragedies.
Erika's words softly consoled them, and gently admonished them. If a servant had said the same thing, Rudolph would probably have jumped on him. However, since it had come from the lips of the guest, the neutral party, it seemed to reach their ears.
Let's stay cool. We have 3 grown men with us and guns as well. Judging by the pattern of the murders, the chances of the culprit having a gun are low. In other words, as long as we keep our heads, the culprit no longer has any way to touch us.
She's right. We can't let the culprit do as they please any longer on our island.
Let's find the culprit. We're in the middle of a typhoon. They can't escape from the island, and there's only so many places they can take shelter from the rain in.
This island is larger than you'd think. Unfortunately, it would be difficult to search the island with this many people. After all, if you found the culprit, you might shoot them to death on the spot as you are now. If the frightened culprit has run into that deep forest, you won't find them easily.
Right. We should just wait for the typhoon to pass, have the boat call the police for us, and let them thoroughly search the island. The police are incredible. They'll bring hundreds of people and pick through it with a fine-tooth comb. That forest may be deep, but they'll definitely smoke the culprit out. The most important thing now is to make sure no more of our beloved family members are taken from us. Rudolph, if something happens to you, what will happen to Anja-chan back home?
Kyrie. Battler. Damn it. I never had a chance to tell you the truth.
Kraus-san, I'm sure that everyone in the cousin room is extremely agitated right now. If you show them you regain your composure, I'm sure that will help them relax a lot. Would you mind heading up there?
Good point. We have to talk with everyone about what we're going to do next.
Please go up with him, Genji-san and Goro-san. I'm sure that Shannon-san, Kanon-san, and Komasama-san are all very agitated.
Yes, I'm sure everyone is quite agitated. Are you certain? Is there anything else we can help with?
And that's why I want you to go with Kraus-san. I want you to be there to help him if something happens. I'd like for the rest of us to check and see that everything's locked up here. We'll head up soon, so please go on ahead.
Understood. If you need anything, please call us. Genji bowed, and Kraus nodded. Kraus also nodded to Erika, then headed up to the second floor with Genji and Goda. In times of confusion, when only men are around, it's easy for a composed member of the opposite sex to take the initiative. Even without the detective's authority, she was able to control them quite naturally. Erika had wanted to get rid of the servants for the time being.
Okay. In that case, let's get to checking the locks.
Our problem's gonna be the big window in the lounge. It looks like it doesn't even have shutters. If they smash this, we won't be able to stop them from coming in.
Don't worry. The sound of the glass smashing will be more than enough warning. I'll turn them into Swiss cheese.
Quiet, please. I didn't have you stay down here to check the doors and windows. Please listen calmly to what I'm about to say.
When Erika lowered her voice, Rudolph and Hideyoshi realized that she wanted to talk about something secret, so they brought their ears closer as soon as they regained their composure.
Listen up. This crime happened during a short break in the family conference. In that tiny span of time, 6 people were killed without anyone noticing. I can't imagine a crime improvised on the spot going so smoothly. This crime was committed by someone who knew the layout of this mansion well, inside and out.
Well, if they didn't know the inside well. But a short while ago, they had attacked Goda, suspecting the servants of making a blunder. However, they'd only thought that he'd forgotten to lock up, and were attacking him for letting the mysterious culprit sneak in. They hadn't considered that one of the servants they knew so well might have taken those lives with their own hands. No, they hadn't wanted to think that. People can't easily suspect someone they know well of being a culprit.
At the time of the crime, the mansion was locked from the inside, and only those involved with the family conference existed there.
So, Erika killed Kyrie and the others? Am I supposed to suspect Hideyoshi Nissan? It's impossible. Unthinkable.
I never even considered suspecting Kraus, Nissan, or Rudolph-kun. All the siblings had excellent relationships with their spouses. True, the Ushiromiya family may be strict with discipline and money, but that doesn't mean we treasure our families less than anyone else.
Yes, of course I believe that. I wouldn't dream that any of you would kill your own wives.
Erika had already received a red truth proof from Battler that they were not the murderers, so there was no need to argue that point. Kraus, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda. None of those 4 was the killer. And yet, Erika said this.
However, what about Goda-san? He was in the waiting room the whole time during the family conference, in a position from which he could do anything without anyone knowing.
Isn't it a little early to suspect Goda-san? Goda-san came to bring us drinks in the dining hall during the break. He was with us for quite some time. He couldn't have had time to kill 6 people.
However, he might have been able to let the actual killer into the mansion.
Precisely. Goda-san probably didn't kill them himself. However, it's very possible that he secretly welcomed the actual murderer into the mansion.
Rudolph and Hideyoshi, stunned, looked at each other. They were family. Even a wife of the siblings would be considered family. Though the siblings hated each other, it wasn't possible that they'd hate each other's wives enough to kill them. Eva and Rosa were 2 of the siblings, but none of the others could have had any reason to kill Natsuhi, Kyrie, Battler, or the young Maria. But, to a servant like Goda, perhaps they were all a little more than complete strangers.
I suspect the servants on 2 points. First, the victims are familiar with them, and there were no signs of a fight in any of the crime scenes. I think you know well that there was no disturbance at any of those places.
I was thinking that too. Figured Kyrie was used enough. Was used enough to fights that she wouldn't get killed that easily without resisting. A woman wouldn't hesitate to bite your finger off. It does make more sense if the culprit was someone she knew, who suddenly attacked when her guard was down.
Come to think of it, the same goes for my Eva. She knows a dozen kinds of martial arts. She spends every day practically wishing for some ruffian to attack her. She wouldn't have been killed off so easily.
Then what about Rosa-san in the parlor? Do you think she'd be easily killed by a stranger without resisting, while she had her only daughter with her? And this tells us something else that's important.
Something important?
The culprit isn't just one person, right?
You're right. Both Rosa-san and Maria-chan were in the parlor. If they hadn't both been killed at the same time, there would have been an uproar. Since the culprit was able to do that, there can't just be one of them.
When it comes to Maria-chan, Rosa was like a quick-to-anger mama bear. She wouldn't cower in fear, even if someone pointed a gun at her. I see. So it had to be someone who wouldn't rouse Rose's suspicion until the last second.
Now we see that the idea of an unknown outsider sneaking into the island is actually the less realistic option. The culprit is someone familiar with this island. There's more than one.
The culprit is someone familiar, and there's more than one. Erika's reasoning pointed clearly at the ones they should suspect and guard themselves against. Furniture.
Mm-hmm. So, you suspect the servants?
Yes. Under the current circumstances, they are the most suspicious. The second reason to suspect them is the closed rooms with the chain locks.
Why do the chain locks make them suspicious?
What if there was no chain lock on the closed rooms?
Then they wouldn't be closed rooms. With a single master key, anyone could make them.
I see. The servants had to seal them with the chains so they wouldn't be suspected.
Exactly. By setting the chain, they don't have to worry about being suspected. To turn it around, if the chains weren't set, they wouldn't be able to avoid suspicion since they hold the master keys.
So, the only ones with something to gain from setting the chains are the servants.
I'm not trying to protect them or anything. But if so, how do they actually set the chains? Is it possible to set them from the outside?
Considering how they're built, I don't think it'd be impossible. Have you heard this story? Apparently, some mailmen who deliver department mailboxes are known to carry loops of wire with them.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Apartment mailboxes often have similar adjoining boxes around them for nearby room numbers. I hear that they'd sometimes accidentally deliver letters to the next room over if they weren't careful.
These mailboxes are almost always locked. If you put the mail into the wrong one, you'd have no way of getting it out.
In that situation, they're supposed to tell the owner of that mailbox about their mistake, have that person unlock the mailbox for them, and retrieve the improperly delivered mail. However, the resident of that apartment would often be out, and going through that process would be a real pain. Because of that, some mailmen would make a little tool out of wire with a loop at the end, and use that to fish the mistakenly placed postcard out through the crack of the mailbox.
I've heard something similar from a friend of mine at a building management company. It seems they'd sometimes get drunks who locked themselves into the bathroom and fell asleep. So to get them out of there, they'd stick a thin metal tool through the crack in the door and undo the latch.
Exactly. All industries have little tools that can easily open things that normally can't be opened. It wouldn't be particularly surprising if the servants of a mansion had something of the sort.
Good point.
Once you've figured out the knack of it, you probably could set the chain from the outside by using a wire. Yeah, we can't be sure that it's impossible.
True, physically speaking. One couldn't say for sure that there existed absolutely no way to set and unset chain locks from the outside. Chain locks allow for the door to be opened a crack. If you stuck something through that crack, you should be able to manage it easily. It was very natural for them to think that. However, Erika knew better. Though it might be possible in reality, the Red Truth had already declared that these closed rooms could not have been constructed from the outside. In other words, it was impossible to manipulate the chain lock from the outside. And yet, Erika was guiding their thoughts with the illusion that only the servants could have constructed the closed rooms. With an air of solemnly revealing some crucial point, she steadily steered the situation in the direction she wanted. Every part of her serious face for the last few minutes had been an act. No, to put it in her words, it was a detective technique for tricking suspects.
I plan to tell Kraus-san what I've told you. I'm not saying that all the servants are culprits. However, it's very likely that one of them is a culprit, or has been assisting the culprit. We should split them apart and have people with guns keep an eye on them.
Rudolph and Hideyoshi looked at each other again. What she was saying made sense, and it sounded as though she was calmly smoking out the most suspicious people at this point in time. With her accomplished conversation techniques, Erika was cleverly grasping the initiative. Even without the detective's authority, it's possible to control human nature to this degree.
What do you think, everyone?
No gunshot? Dang. Okay.
No gunshot.
Because it's a chapter end. It's a...
Oh, you mean like the glass breaking?
It's always got a little hole, like there's a gunshot through it. Yeah.
It seems like they do like 50-50. They do the gun or the glass shatter, and half the time they just do the little roses like they just did.
Mm-hmm.
I
All
don't know
right.
what indicates what. But yeah,
Well,
a good way to end it, I think.
Yeah.
Erika being a little
sly,
I think
little coy.
Duke Onkled said it all
Duke
right there.
Onklet,
But
a little Duke Onklet.
I like how
Erika's being a
always been
bastard
great.
again.
Yeah, I love it when she does that. I will say, I want to say one more thing about the D&D Erika build, the original, because I think it's really funny. In the top comments, or the top comment for that post, the original post for it, somebody had said, just by the existence of D&D 5th edition, even this level of character building is possible. And then the original poster commented in response and said, "What do you think, everyone?"
Yeah.
I just thought that was funny.
It's a good inside joke.
It is. Alright, well, we're going. First Twilight's out.
First Twilight, done. We're debating about... Now, what I'm curious of is if this is going to be kind of similar to the last one where we don't even gotta keep going after the first Twilight. I wonder if this is going to be the whole plot all the way through. If it's going to be we're going to get stuck on something in the first Twilight and then that's going to go all the way until we're resolved at the end.
I won't say one way or the other, but I will say that was... What was that, chapter 12? Yeah.
Of?
Give me a minute to do some quick math. Oh, math. 18.
Oh, yeah,
18,
okay. Yeah, no.
Excluding tea parties.
Wait, unless they pull we're jumping through it like faster than a speeding bullet, then I don't think we're going to even be seeing the other murders. Okay.
Mhm.
Well,
I have to see what happens.
but we'll have to do that next time.
Indeed. Which will not be this Thursday.
Yeah, no, we are both American. And
Indeed.
this Thursday is Thanksgiving in the United States. So, we're going to be doing stuff with our families and having a good old thankful time. As should all of you, if you are from the United States, or even if you're not. You don't have to be
go
American
be
to celebrate
thankful
Thanksgiving.
for the past streams by watching
Yeah.
them.
Oh. All right.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out, Duke. Thanks for hanging out, everybody, in the chat,
it was
as
another
always.
one of those rarer streams that we have where a lot of people have came in and talked today, and those are always nice when we have a lot of interaction. So thanks for hanging out
Much
with us.
appreciated.
Thanks for watching, and we'll have to see you next time, which should probably be a week from now then. It should be the next Sunday. So,